Take a breath. Close your eyes for just a moment. What you're about to hear isn't something new being offered to you from the outside. It's a reminder of something you've always carried within you. The life you want, the changes you've been praying for, the things that feel just out of reach right now. None of them are as far away as they seem. In fact, they're closer than you think. But nothing in your outer world will move until something shifts inside you first. Here's what most people never figure out. They spend their entire lives waiting for the world to change, not realizing they are the ones who have to change first. You have to show up as the person who already has what they're asking for. Not someday, not when things finally line up. Right now, today, you have to step into the version of yourself who already walks in abundance, who already carries the weight of answered prayers in their hands, who already lives the life they once only daydreamed about. Think about what that version of you actually feels like. How do they move through a room? How do they speak? What do their mornings feel like? They are not begging for anything. They are not sitting in corners full of worry and doubt. They walk with a settled, deep knowing that what belongs to them will always find its way to them. They aren't shaken by bad news or slow progress because they understand something that most people don't, that the world around them bends to what they believe about themselves, not the other way around. You are, in every sense of the word, a magnet. The energy you carry inside you right now is the same energy that comes back to you through the circumstances of your life. When you live inside fear, when lack feels like your permanent address, when uncertainty is the air you breathe, you draw more of that same experience toward you. But the moment you genuinely shift, the moment you start to feel what abundance actually feels like from the inside, the moment you stop just thinking about it and start inhabiting it, everything has to change. Not because of luck, because of law. Stop chasing. Stop begging. Stop straining against the life you want like it's something you have to wrestle to the ground. Instead, rest. Rest in the knowing that it's already settled, already decided, already yours in the only place that actually matters, your inner world. Walk through your days with gratitude, as if reality is simply taking its time catching up to what's already true on the inside. Because that is literally how this works. Your job is to hold the unseen reality steady, to refuse to let doubt talk you out of what you know. When you stay in the feeling of already having, the physical world has no choice but to eventually match it. What was invisible will become something you can touch. So today, stand up straighter. Carry yourself like the person who effortlessly receives the best that life has to offer. Because here's the truth you need to sit with. You already are that person. Everything you see around you, every circumstance, every pattern, every relationship, every number in your bank account, it's all just a mirror. It's all just showing you what you've been believing about yourself. Your outer world isn't happening to you. It's coming through you. It's a projection of what's been living inside you, consciously or not. If you've accepted the idea that life is unfair, life will keep showing you unfairness. If you've decided deep down that struggle is just your story, struggle will keep showing up on time, every time. But if you truly assume, really assume down in your bones, that things unfold in your favor, that ease is natural for you, that good things don't just happen for other people, but for you specifically, then life cannot deliver anything else. There's no escape from that law. And once you actually see it working, once you catch yourself having created your reality all along, you won't be able to unsee it. So many people believe they're at the mercy of things beyond their control, that what they achieve or don't achieve comes down to timing, to luck, to what family they were born into, or what opportunities happened to cross their path. But that's not the truth. Reality doesn't shape you. You shape reality. The assumptions buried in your subconscious aren't passive. They're constantly broadcasting, and the world around you is constantly responding. If you assume people are good, you'll keep meeting good people. If you assume money is scarce and hard to hold on to, you will be surrounded by situations that confirm exactly that. It isn't the universe working against you. It's the universe being a perfect mirror. The moment you make a real decision to assume differently, to genuinely shift what you believe on the inside, the whole world outside starts to rearrange. The process itself is beautifully simple, even if it asks something of you that most people find incredibly hard. You have to assume that the life you want is already real, not that it's coming, not that it's possible, that it already exists and you're just living in it. This isn't wishful thinking. Wishing keeps you at a distance from what you want. This is knowing. Knowing it the way you know the sun will rise. And knowing changes everything about how you walk, how you talk, how you treat yourself and others. Don't wait for the physical world to give you permission to feel good about your life. The physical world is a mirror, and mirrors don't update themselves. You have to change first. You have to feel it first. So many people are waiting for the money to arrive before they let themselves feel wealthy, waiting for the relationship to show up before they let themselves feel loved. But that's living life backwards. You have to feel it first. You have to embody it first. And only then does the outside world have something new to reflect back to you. If you assume you're successful, success starts threading itself through your days in ways you couldn't have predicted. If you assume you are deeply loved, love starts appearing from directions you didn't expect. There's no effort required in the traditional sense, no force, no strain. Reality simply has no choice but to reflect what you persistently hold inside you. It's the law and it's consistent every single time. The only thing that can slow this down is doubt. If you step into an assumption in one moment and then let fear whisper its way back in, you're essentially undoing your own work. That's why persistence matters more than intensity. It's not about having one big emotional moment and expecting the world to flip overnight. It's about staying in that state, refusing to be dragged back into the old story by current appearances. Your current circumstances are not your truth. They're just the echo of what you used to believe. They're catching up to the past, not predicting the future. Here's what you need to practice. Close your eyes and put yourself fully inside the life you desire. Don't just think about it from the outside. Live in it mentally. Feel the specific emotions. See the details. Let it become so familiar that it stops feeling like a fantasy and starts feeling like memory. Then simply stay there. Keep returning to that place. The external world must eventually conform. Not because you're forcing it, but because you've become a match to it. The gap between where you are and where you're going closes from the inside. Most people spend their whole lives wanting things. But wanting, when it's soaked in longing and lack, actually pushes what you're after further away. You can't be in a state of needing something and receiving it at the same time. The moment the energy is, I need this, you've already told the universe you don't have it. And the universe keeps delivering the experience of not having it. The shift has to go from wanting to having, from longing to owning. Move your awareness. Instead of sitting in the absence of what you want, sit in the fullness of it. Close your eyes and go there right now. Let what you seek feel finished. Feel the relief. Feel the gratitude. Feel the lightness of not having to wonder anymore. Those feelings aren't just nice emotions, they're the actual bridge. The more you live in those feelings, the more tightly you align yourself with the version of reality where what you want is already a fact. Think back over your own life. There were probably times when something came to you so easily it almost surprised you. Chances are in those moments, you weren't agonizing over whether it would happen. You just assumed it would. Maybe you expected a call and it came. Maybe you needed something to work out and it did, almost effortlessly. Those weren't accidents. Those were proof of what happens when your inner state and your outer desire are perfectly aligned. Now think about the things you've chased the hardest. The ones that felt most urgent, most necessary. Did they come easily? Or did they seem to keep slipping just a little further every time you reached? That's the energy of neediness, and it creates resistance. The greatest obstacle standing between you and a miracle isn't the economy, isn't other people, isn't timing. It's the urge to control how it happens. Most people make their request to the universe and then immediately start micromanaging the delivery. When will it come? Which door will it come through? Who needs to do what for this to work? They analyze and plan and strategize, thinking their involvement is critical. But what they're actually doing is creating resistance. They're blocking the very thing they're calling in. The mind wants certainty. It wants to trace every step before it trusts the outcome. But that need for control is exactly what delays everything. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every morning to see if roots have formed. You trust the process. You give it water, give it light, and let the earth do what the earth knows how to do. You don't micromanage the growth. Your desires work exactly the same way. The moment you truly assume your desire is already yours, something begins. Your only job is to stay in the state of receiving, rather than slipping back into waiting. People sometimes worry, if I detach from the how, does that mean I just sit still and do nothing? No, Detaching from the how doesn't mean inaction. It means inspired action. When you're genuinely living in the state of already having what you want, you'll naturally feel drawn to move in certain directions. You'll get ideas. You'll feel nudged. You'll find yourself in the right conversation at the right moment. That kind of action doesn't feel like strain. It feels like following a current rather than swimming against one. Think of the moments in your life when something worked out perfectly without you engineering it. A thought of someone and they called. A question in your mind and an answer appeared out of nowhere. These weren't coincidences. These were what happens when you release control and let life flow through you rather than forcing yourself against it. When you insist on one specific path, you close off every other route that might be faster, easier, more surprising and beautiful than anything you could have planned. Let go of the how. Trust that what's meant for you has more creative access to the world than your planning mind does. Stop checking for signs. Stop watching the horizon for proof. Just live as though it's already happened. Feel the gratitude, the peace, the completeness of already being where you want to be. Move through your day quietly, knowing something is in motion, even when you can't see it yet. And then, when you least expect it, what was unseen simply becomes your life. There's a profound difference between wanting something and knowing it belongs to you. Most people live and die in that wanting, always hoping, always almost there. They don't realize that hoping from a place of lack is actually confirming the lack. It's keeping them in exactly the state they're trying to leave. To truly call miracles into your life, you have to step across that line from wanting into having. The desire is natural, but when it's draped in desperation, when it's tangled up in a feeling of not enough, it repels rather than attracts. The universe doesn't read your words. It reads your state. So when you catch yourself saying, I need this, hear what you're actually communicating, that you don't have it. And if you don't have it internally, the outside world has nothing to deliver it to. Shift instead to the feeling of fulfillment, of already arrived. Go inside and find what it actually feels like when the thing you want is already yours. The relief, the ease, the quiet happiness. Those feelings aren't the reward for manifesting. They're the means. The longer you dwell in those feelings, the more completely you align yourself with the version of reality where none of this is still pending. It's already done. When it truly feels real inside you, something switches. You stop chasing. You stop performing. You stop looking over your shoulder. You simply know. And in that knowing, things start moving. People show up, opportunities open. Everything lines up without you forcing a single piece of it. Your world is a mirror, completely and always. Everything in it, your finances, your relationships, your daily experience, is showing you what you've been carrying inside. That's not a judgment, that's a gift. Because it means nothing is fixed. It means the moment you genuinely change what you hold within, the mirror has to show you something new. Most people are waiting for the reflection to change before they change the face they're making at the mirror. But that's not how mirrors work. You go first. Change happens inside first. Always. The world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are. The illusion of lack is only powerful over those who accept it. Scarcity is not a fact of life. It's a belief, a deeply conditioned, widely inherited belief that gets passed around like it's just the way things are. But it isn't. Wealth isn't sitting in a vault somewhere, rationed out to a lucky few. It's a state of consciousness. It's a way of moving through the world. When you look at life through the lens of not enough, you will find evidence of not enough in every direction. But when you shift the lens, when you choose to see how much is actually flowing, how much is available, how much is already present, reality starts looking entirely different. Think about the air you breathe. Do you ever wake up worried there won't be enough oxygen today? Of course not. You assume it's there. You trust it completely. You breathe without any anxiety about whether the supply will hold. That's the same relationship you're being invited to have with abundance. It's here. It's always here. Always moving, always available. Doubt is the only wall between you and it. A person who wakes up every morning worried about money, scanning their bank account with a knot in their stomach, moving through their day from a place of financial anxiety, they're not experiencing a shortage of available wealth. They're experiencing a shortage of belief. Their inner state has positioned them outside the flow. But a person who walks through the same world, convinced that money is always finding its way to them, who spends without fear because they trust more is coming, who sees opportunity everywhere. That person is not luckier. They are simply aligned, and the world around them has no choice but to reflect that alignment. Stop telling yourself money is hard to come by. Stop reinforcing the story that success is for other people. Stop rehearsing the narrative of struggle as if it's your destiny. Instead, train yourself to notice abundance everywhere you look. See the businesses thriving. See the transactions happening constantly around you. Wealth isn't disappearing, it's circulating. It's moving from person to person in an endless flow. Your only real task is to position yourself inside that flow. And you do that from the inside. Every time you catch a thought of limitation, redirect it. Not forcefully, not with shame, just firmly. Replace it with something that sounds like the truth of who you really are. Wealth is natural for me. Things work out in my favor. I am always supported. Say these not as wishes, but as statements of fact. Feel the truth of them as you say them. It's the feeling that carries the signal, not the words alone. Now, right now, settle into silence. Close your eyes. Feel the stillness. You don't need to chase anything. You don't need to figure anything out. Somewhere inside you, there's a version of your life where everything you've been asking for has already arrived. Feel into that. Imagine you're holding something in your hands, something that tells you it's done. Your heart lifts. Your breath quickens. There's this rush of knowing that the waiting is over, that the life you wanted has quietly become the life you're living. That feeling is real. It's not made up. It already exists inside you, which means the reality it belongs to already exists too. You're not manufacturing this. You're aligning with it. You're not forcing anything into being. You're accepting what's already true in the deeper reality beneath appearances. Your role is not to create your desire from scratch. It's to become the version of yourself that it already belongs to. That version exists. Step into it. The people who seem to draw wealth and success and love into their lives without apparent effort, they're not special. They're not favored. They've just internalized the truth that the universe responds to who you are, not to how hard you try. They walk through life already certain. They don't look for signs because they don't need them. They already know. And that knowing is what makes all the difference. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces available to you. Not gratitude after the fact, not gratitude as a polite thank you when things work out, but gratitude in advance. Gratitude that arrives before any physical evidence and says, I know this is mine. That kind of gratitude isn't based on what you can see. It's based on what you know is already true in the unseen, and it changes everything. Most people express gratitude as a reaction. Something good happens and they say thank you. But the creative force of gratitude is unleashed when you say thank you before anything visible has changed. When you wake up in the morning and say thank you for my financial freedom, thank you for the love that surrounds me, thank you for everything flowing into my life right now, and you mean it, you feel it, not as a performance, but as a real inner conviction, you are doing something extraordinary. You are training your mind to live in the reality of having rather than the reality of wanting. Gratitude pulls your focus out of lack. Every time you complain, every time you rehearse what's missing, every time you notice what isn't there, you're adding energy to its absence. But when you shift into real appreciation, when you start noticing what's already working and reaching forward with thanks for what's coming, you change the signal you're sending out. And the world has to respond to that new signal. 3 days. Sometimes that's all it takes when the assumption is complete and the doubt is quiet and the feeling is real. Your reality is not happening to you. It is moving through you. Everything that shows up in your life, every person, every event, every circumstance, is just the outer world catching up to something you decided to believe on the inside. Change the decision, change the belief, and everything changes. Time is not the obstacle you think it is. The past is nothing more than memory. The future is nothing but projection. What's real is right now. And right now, everything you've ever wanted already exists. Not as something you still need to create, but as something you need to claim. Stop placing your desires in the future. Stop framing them as things that will happen someday. Bring them here. Bring them now. Feel them as present reality, not future hope. Your subconscious is listening to every thought you think, every feeling you linger in, every story you repeat about yourself. It takes all of it as instruction and builds accordingly. So become aware. Notice what you're rehearsing. Notice what you're telling yourself in the quiet moments. And redirect. Not with force, not with frustration, but with a gentle, firm return to the truth of what you're choosing to believe. Do this consistently. Do it again every time the old pattern resurfaces. That repetition is what creates the new groove. That consistency is what eventually makes your new assumption feel more natural than the old one. Once the subconscious fully accepts your new assumption, nothing can hold back what follows. People will appear, ideas will arrive, doors will open. Not because you fought for them, but because you finally aligned with them. Creation doesn't move through force, it moves through surrender. Surrender to the knowing that it's already done. Release the need to see the blueprint. Trust the intelligence that orchestrates everything in ways more elegant than your planning mind can dream up. Your life is not fixed. Your circumstances are not a life sentence. They are simply feedback from the past, showing you what you used to believe. You are not obligated to keep believing it. The world you want is available. The abundance you seek is real. The love you deserve is already in motion. The success you're capable of is not a fantasy, it's a frequency. And the moment you match it from the inside, from the quiet, certain, grateful place in you that already knows, everything else becomes inevitable. Trust it. Stay with it. Move in silence. Live in the end, and let what has always been yours finally, fully, undeniably arrive.